or whatever you say.
About the debate.
Listen. You're starting this conversation. I'm just responding. So
But
we should be done.
Respond, so now we debate.
Well, no.
And now they're debating about debating. And I was thinking, does take two people now. She wanted to have the last word. You could.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Belt 91. I do apologize about the mix-up of times. This is what happens when you travel too much. My voice has gone slightly as well. So, but listen, we are talking about Ready to Love. People were meeting the exes. People were, having very strange conversations. People wanted to know sexual history. But I will say this episode did highlight a few things for myself, right? I think, for instance, the date with Cardi, his ex, Ashanti, and Dominique. I actually understand where the exes come from. I'm sorry. You call someone a dog, you downright know that ain't the person you're trying to be with. Okay. So I don't know if Ashanti got pushed onto that date late. I don't know if that's production, because sometimes production had to push these dates that are not really happening. I don't know if they forced her on last minute to make sure he had more connection than he actually did, but there's nothing going on there. Like you call someone a dog, you and I both know you don't want that person. Okay. Call it whatever you want to call it. Then we have Vince's ex situation. Vince likes to debate and argue too much. Vince, your girlfriend is not the debate team. Your wife is not the debate team. Your partner isn't the debate team. I've been there before and I understand it. I've been there before where you're very argumentative because for you it's fun. But you have to recognize that part of that debate in a relationship then becomes tacky. It becomes a nuisance. It becomes a problem unless you got someone who's equally yoked who likes to argue. And do you know what I'm going to say? Donna is equally yoked. I don't care what she says. She likes to argue too. She likes to tell people about themselves. She's perfect for Vince. So I think she can continue. I know she was turned off, but she don't recognize herself. She's just like that woman there. Okay. Then obviously we have Bello and Dominique and his ex, and then Ashanti. And it was interesting actually to see the cerebralness of Ashanti and Bello actually, because I know the connection was more with Dominique, which is very much, I think Dominique forces Bello into a more masculine position, right? When I say that in a sense of he wants to try and soothe this, I call it a siren. You get what I'm saying to you? Say it pulls something out of him to want to soothe it. But I love the fact that when he found out she read this particular book, that he had to consider Ashanti a bit more. Like, we got some cerebral connection here. I don't know if he has that cerebral connection of Dominique. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not saying Dominique is not smart. I'm saying to you that the way that Ashanti and him connected, it seemed very cerebral. In that space as well. So I didn't really see that with Dominique, but this is not about Dominique not being smart. It's about what people are able to connect with, and then obviously we saw who else's date? Sorry, it's gone out of my brain real quick. I know they're gonna come into my head in a second. Okay. We also got to see our good sis, what do I call it? What's her name? Nicole, and a couple of times as well. We saw Nicole on a couple of different dates, and you know what's interesting? Leah really showed up really, really well actually on the date. Leah showed up really, really well. Lauren showed up really, really well on the date as well when it came to Stephen. I actually liked it. I actually liked the way she was interacting. I was like, oh, okay, I'm getting a different side from you now. Enough of that twirly crap. You know what I mean? Enough of that thing you try and take over men. Like, this is what I want to see from you. I want to see a softness from you. I want to see more delight, more excitement from you. So this was really nice to see her in that particular position, because I ain't gonna lie to you, the 12 stuff was really frustrating me. You know what I mean? Like, let's not make tall your personality. You know what I'm saying? To you, you're a beautiful woman. You don't need to. Unfortunately, obviously, Nicole, in this scenario kind of was the paperweight. She became the paperweight. Okay. She made herself the paperweight in a lot of instances. But what I will agree with though is, I do think she's a little bit insecure, but I want people to be understanding. And maybe when I do a full breakdown tomorrow, when I do actual like proper breakdown deep, is that a lot of these people are insecure. The difference is that her insecurity is very obvious because she is down. She's self-deprecating, right? So in that instance, it's like it's obvious to like, oh, she's insecure. But a lot of people are insecure. We call them that's what we call insecure attachments. So when you're avoidant, you're insecure. That's the whole point. So a lot of them are actually insecure. But I understood what they meant. I understood what they were saying. And I understand where she was where they were coming from in terms of her their breakdown of her. But I did also I did understand what she was saying in the sense of like she said she wouldn't like that as a feeling, right? So when they admitted, obviously, how do you feel about it? If you ask me how I feel, that's very different from don't do it. She said I don't feel like you know what I mean. So I could also understand where she's coming from. You're being honest about how you feel, and I'd rather someone be honest about how they feel. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to tell me that I don't like that feeling, I'd rather you do that than be fake and knowing that you're dying inside and you're going to be doing stupid stuff because you don't actually feel that way. You know what I mean? Whereas everyone's saying, yeah, I'm really good with it. I'm really good with it. Half of them are not good with it. Okay? They're just wearing a mask. But again, I understood what they meant about the insecurity. Really and truly, nobody connected with Nicole. Let's just keep it buck. Okay? None of them really did. And so she was next to go. You know what I mean? Devon's date situation. Now, Devon said, I ain't gonna lie to you. Devon was feeling himself a bit too much. My man told me he had 4 different connections. No, you ain't. Okay? There ain't actually connections, bro. Okay? All right? They're not actually connections. Okay? Really and truly. But no, I'm joking. But yeah, when he said that, I was like, his ex was very beautiful, though. The ex was very, very beautiful. I have to admit. I have to ask those questions as to what was going on there. You know me. But yeah, that was a good one there. Cardi, of course, we all know the beef and the Cardi situation.
Okay. Yeah, she did.
They're on. We had Darius and his date. I haven't watched his interview, but I've been hearing about this interview that he's said some things. Okay, all right. I heard there's some things in there that Darius has been accused of. Okay, you know what I mean? But Darius obviously gave the fur to Ashley, and I'm a little bit scared for Ashley in this scenario because I'm gonna be real. All right. He's given a bit of a player vibe in it. You get me? Just a little. You know what I mean? Like just a little. Darius giving us a little bit of a player vibe. But yeah, listen, I did a quick breakdown. We're gonna get into this because, like I said, my voice is going. I ain't know how long I got left in this voice. It's Sunday, going on to Monday, and I got some praying to do. So we're gonna get into this review. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you're liking, you're sharing, you're subscribing. For those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. Maybe we stay locked, stay loaded, and let's get involved. I'm gonna bring up El Cid. I know the rest of the gang will get involved in a minute or two, but I will not be going backwards. So if they don't come on time, we are not going backwards. We're going to be going forward. So I hope they come because I'm going to times. El Cidio. El Cid, why you look like you shot?
The way that you trying to use the last bit of your voice to put the law down.
That's all I got left, man. After screaming and shouting at a wedding that I was hosting, I haven't got anything left in that voice. But yeah, listen, what was your thoughts on this this episode, man? Meeting the exes.
Do we need to meet the exes? I mean, I learned something, but I learned something from each of the men. But do we really need to do the exes? Okay.
You know, we never do. You know, the exes are never necessary. I never understand why we meet the exes, and then
I mean, we had a Walter Pardue. I mean, we had a messy ex party, but I was expecting more from some of the exes. I was expecting more answers, not more drama, just more answers.
Wow. You definitely right on that. Sean, welcome.
What's cracking, brother? Hey, El Cid.
What's Gucci?
Hello, Sean.
El Cid, are you gonna do this to me already? We starting off like this?
Hey, you should take it as a high compliment. Mr. El Cid and I make fun, of his voice too. So that was your family, Sean, when I do that. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Glad to know. Because I ain't getting
in the club. We all fam. That's that what it is. Okay, I'll take it.
Oh boy, crazy love.
This was quite an episode, though.
It really was. It really was. We gonna get you right in.
I'm interested.
Get you right in.
pumped. I'm excited. I'm ready. I got my cute little outfit on, my hair doing what it need to do. I'm ready to have some fun.
Ashante.
Yes.
Like the singer?
Tato.
That's Ashanti.
Ashanti.
Oh, you're
Ashanti.
Ashante. Oh, you fancy, girl.
Tay
You
Tay.
fancy. Okay, so tell me something. Like, tell me.
All right, cool. So we obviously had the Cardi experience in this particular section of the episode. Cardi, unfortunately, let it derail. That's my thoughts anyway. He let it derail because his ex was asking questions of the ladies, okay? And he was really kind of asking them first. He was asking them, first of all, foremost, what Cardi was to them. Dominique was saying, that's basically a connection. Ashanti came in and said, that's her dog. And is it Shannon? Is it Shannon? Is it Shannon? How you pronounce the name? Shannon, is it? Yeah. I don't know what answer. I can't remember what answer was it. Like, she was basically saying that's a connection as well. I felt like she got lost in the situation anyway because she was on the exit side of the chair anyway. But there was obviously a bit of a conversation that was happening, and the conversation was one of to kind of say that it clearly made people understand where they kind of stood. At least the ex was going to be pushing hard. My first question really to ask is, what was the ex doing way too much by pushing the way she put? Because she did go trading, almost like pushing it further and further. Was the ex doing too much in a situation with Cardi and the rest of the ladies in this particular exchange? Sid, I'll let you jump in first.
Here's my problem, that we only saw the back and forth mainly with the ex and Ashante. I mean, that's the only one we kind of saw. We saw her talk to Dom. We didn't see much of Shannon's interaction. Okay. That interaction and why she's connected to Cardi is, something what the ex did that I would be like, why are you telling these ladies how deep my pockets are? That ain't your assignment. That ain't your assignment. You done put my business out here on Front Street. But, here's my problem with the Cardi experience. Exactly that. It was too quiet. These are ladies around you. You are dating some of these ladies, and this is your ex. And, your ex isn't handling the assignment. You try to say, can I get everybody a drink to try and lighten the mood? Cardi, I'm going to need the experience to come with a little more control, a little more, hey, everybody, could we get back on task? A little bit of leadership. How about that? Okay. An ex, don't be telling his business like that. Because Dom was like, oh, really? Tell me more. So I know she was joking about that. I know she wasn't pocket chasing. But definitely the ex came at Ashanti. She was right. That is this your friend or is this, a romantic relationship? Because when you say my dog, that's the homie that I go to the games with. That's the homie, but that is not the romantic relationship. How she went about it, that's her own twist. Sean?
Yeah, I think the ex was doing a little too. She was doing too much. I don't think anything, like, I didn't get a bad vibe in terms of like there's still something going on between the two of them, but I think he doesn't have firm boundaries in place, and you could tell. Kojo, I'm gonna steal from you. It looked like he might be a little bit of an avoidant because when things got tense, he just shut down. He acknowledged that it was very awkward, the interaction that the ex had with Ashanti. But he never stepped in to tell her to chill, or the only time he kind of made a little comment was when she started talking about money and how much money he makes, but he still never fully made his boundaries clear. And I think that's on him and definitely on her to just slow her roll a little bit. And I think she should have pivoted when she was kind of asking and talking about sex, and she saw like the some of the ladies' reaction, and then Ashanti didn't want to answer the question, and then she doubled down. So that's the kind of point. Like at that point, I mean, you can throw it out there if you want to gauge it. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that's what you're here to do either, but you could ask that question in a better way in terms of, hey, are you an affectionate person? How do you feel about PDA? Those are the kind of things that I think are better questions versus diving right into full on intimacy. And then when the person objects, and well, Ashanti also, she was like, we ain't getting into my coochie. That was also, that was a lot. So, yeah, that's my thoughts about it.
Yes, I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, listen, hey, I think the ex might have been a bit too much, but I also understood why she was asking, maybe at least asking about, Ashanti, whether she actually wanted the old boy, because I didn't get no impression that she liked the old boy. I'm sorry. But I also understand that maybe the I know she asked about the run in the pockets situation. I know it was tacky the way she did it, but I also understood where she was aiming at, right? What she's really saying is she clocked that Dominique is probably high maintenance, okay, and high finance. You know what I mean? So maybe, I don't know, she was kind of maybe aiming that a little bit at Dominique. Maybe she was also kind of firing a little bit of a warning shot at Cardi to wait like, Cardi, wake up. You know what I mean? Like, my boy, she's high finances, high maintenance. Wake up. Just in case you ain't clocked it, I'm clocking it for you. And when you kind of say the obvious thing out loud, almost in a sense, so I don't know. I feel that, but yeah, I definitely understand what you mean. But I probably heard doing a little bit too much as well. Seaway, what's your thoughts? We're talking about the ex, and we were just saying, obviously, ask the question: did the ex do too much in her in her approach and what she was saying in regards to the ladies?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna try to be nice. I'm gonna do my best to be nice because
please, birthday girl.
Okay.
By the way, it's a baddie birthday yesterday.
Yeah, so that means it's my birthday today because I wasn't on here last day because I think Kojo actually cared and moved it because it was my B-day. Hello. Sagittarius season. I think we're wrapping up today. Today's the last day. So she did entirely, thank you. She did entirely effing too much. I cannot stand when women claim to be exes or best friends. It be that best friend of the ex and things like that. And you just gotta just be, you just doing too much. Like, are you gonna be his girl or are you his ex or what are you? Because you have a lot of opinions. And my thing is, how are you gonna tell another person what their priorities should be and how they should view things? If she says, I think friendship is important to me first, that's how she views things, how are you gonna tell somebody else? Thank you guys, I appreciate it. Thank you. So I'm gonna try to be nice, Kojo, but I don't have nothing nice to say about that lady. She did entirely too much. And if I was Ashanti, I think Ashanti handled it quite well because it's like, first of all, you're not bullying me, period.
I definitely hear you on that one. So unfortunately for the Cardi. Okay, so I guess my second question is, it kicked off obviously with Cardi, and I don't know if I got a bit, but let me see if I can get the actual clip for you guys, the right timing.
I like her. Shannon is number 2. She's beautiful inside.
Let me go backwards, sorry.
Absolutely.
I don't like how he handled the situation. I would have never allowed anybody to ask him crazy invasive questions. Cardi could have most definitely stood up for me more and put some folks in their place, and that did not happen.
I want the best for you.
Yeah.
So
I want to know, Cardi, did he fail to handle the situation? And if he did fail to handle the situation, I want to know, how should the ladies view him after this then? Because he, if we are saying he did fail to handle the situation, what would it look like handling the situation? If so, again, if we agree to that point. If not, then I guess obviously, it's a different thought process. Any thoughts? Who would like to go first? Let's see where you're at.
I personally feel like there's definitely a way as a man to have a calming energy. You don't got to completely put your ex, like, you ain't got to sun her or nothing like that. but you can also acknowledge like, hey, I know what you're saying, but I'm sure Ashanti has her own feelings and stuff on it as well. He completely let that lady just run off with the races and act like she was his agent or his mouthpiece and things like that. And so I definitely think he didn't calm the room. And I just think in general, as a man, a real man controls the room, he controls the situation, and he brings a level of calmness and maturity to situations. And he let that go completely off the race, because to me, what I took from that is that he lets women speak for him, because she felt very comfortable speaking for him. And now I was like, I can make it about this lady and what else I want to say about her, but I'm not. At the end of the day, she felt comfortable speaking for him, and only he could do that, right? And so I wouldn't want to be with him after that if I was any of those women at that table, because why does she feel so comfortable, talking for him?
You heard that? You said ever.
So that's my thought. It was just weird. It was really, really weird, aggressive. And a lot of times people pick women who they're intimidated by, or, they have an issue and they want to try to sun them, and they want to try to bring them down a peg. I'm glad she didn't back down, because who are you? If you know so much, why aren't you still with him? That's my thought.
Yeah, he did not control the conversation, and the ex knew she was going to be there. My thought would be, for any woman that is there and considering dating him, are you going to let your friend railroad me in the future? Like here? Is this what I should expect every time your friend is around, that you won't speak up for me, that I got to handle it myself? So, yeah, he went way down. He back at the second mixer.
Sean?
Yeah, I happen to be in agreement. I think that he definitely should have, when it was going off the rails, he should have reeled it back in. Like when she started that conversation and he looked at the ladies and he saw Ashanti getting uncomfortable, there's a way you can, redirect the conversation. Like, I definitely understand that, but we could talk about those things much later, and it's probably better discussed one on one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he could definitely get the question, like say, hey, listen, I want us to kind of, maybe let's share a little bit about relationship styles, like take over. And if she's getting out of pocket, you now take the reins, and then, say, hey, ladies, any questions y'all want to ask her, but keep it light. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many other ways he could have pivoted that conversation when she started to, get a little bit out of hand.
Pretty sure. Okay. Yeah, I definitely hear about the Cardi situation. I think it was poorly handled. I always think to myself that, the ex is waiting on his cue. And if he had just told the ex, like, just chill it, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I see what you're doing. Like, I see what you're doing. I hear what you're going to, but yo, pipe it. You know what I mean? Like, you're doing a bit too much. You know what I mean? Like, just pause the bus. Like, I've called you here to help, not to here to destroy. You get what I'm saying to you? Like, so I shouldn't allow you to run it over. But again, I think like you guys have said, I think it highlights the lack of assertiveness that he may have with his partners, which means more than likely he is going to be following your lead in relationships as well. So, so I don't know if that's true. Then maybe it's not really his ex, but you know what I mean. So, yeah, it's interesting to kind of see that. Do you know what I mean? I think Cardi's got to watch that. I think he should look back at it and ask himself a real question: the kind of women that I'm actually dating, what are these type of women that you're actually dating? You know what I mean? Like, who are you really dating? Because it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for any kind of soft, feminine woman that you want to be with, because they're going to always be forced to take the lead in a relationship with the way that Cardi operates. So, yeah, it's something he has to look at, I think, as well.
Wait, I have a question.
So, yeah.
She's been on other dating shows. Can we bring that to the front? I'm trying to understand. The ex has been on TV before?
Yes, if you go to her IG, if you go to the clip Cardi posted this, and she does say hello. And if you go to her IG, she's been on other dating shows now and a few years back.
Oh,
As the contestant?
One, I know the earlier one, she was as a contestant, but another one, she was like, I
Why
gotta
would
go
he?
look
Why
it
did
up.
he post that? To say like she's an expert or just?
He didn't post it. I went to her IG.
Oh, her IG. Oh, I thought you said Cardi put it on his IG. Oh, okay.
But what, you don't remember what dating show?
Of course not. There's only so many things I'm going to keep in my mind, and that was not one of them. But I'll pull it up for you.
There's only been so many dating shows. That's what I'm trying to figure out which one she been on.
I'll pull it up.
Oh, she been on. Okay. She been on actual dating shows.
Is it like a pop the balloon, like something like that kind of show, like just a YouTube show?
Yeah, they said, "Well, wait, we got all day." Kojo looked like he got time too.
Listen, we have limited time tonight, based on Kojo.
I remember
this live came together on a wing and a prayer. Let me tell you.
And I was really praying.
It went from Sunday to Monday, back to Monday to Sunday, all over again. It's like, okay, all right, bro.
It was in the spiritual realms trying to figure it out.
Well, the reason why I think it's relevant because she was looking and she just was doing too much, like she was auditioning for baddies or something. And it's like, why did you do so much? It just felt like she was
a little bit extra,
looking for a moment. And so that's why I'm like, that actually makes sense. And she's been on dating shows before, but all that energy just wasn't even warranted.
But I still wouldn't let her. I still wouldn't let her run things like that, though. You get me? Mm-hmm. Again, that still speaks to his state of mind, like you guys have said, right? Like I don't care if they're gonna tell me, oh, you can bring someone in that we can, that's gonna be a proper whatever. Yeah, bring you want to bring a proper words, but it can't be talking in how they want to talk. Do you know what I mean? It can't be talking in how they want to talk. That's not how we
right. And misrepresenting me, and then you're making my potential dates that I'm, building connections with. You're making them uncomfortable, and you're talking about things that you're pushing the envelope a little bit too soon.
One of the things I do not like playing with is people jeopardizing any kind of relationship I'm trying to build with somebody. You're like, you know what I mean? You automatically become an enemy to me. Like you trying to jeopardize my thing. Now, if I jeopardize it, I jeopardize it. That's on me. But if you coming in, you don't jeopardize my thing. Well, you're about to become an enemy of me. Absolutely. I
just also think some women though who I know some people think I'm about to talk about that lady having a big back. I'm not, because I don't need to say the obvious. But what I will say is that sometimes women are very intimidated when they see other beautiful women. I think she looked at Dominique and was like, Dominique is just not even going to give me the energy that I want. I'm sure she was intimidated by Dominique too, but she thought, okay, maybe I can get a reaction from Ashanti, and she did. So, I think she was intimidated in general about, just the type of lineup that he had. I mean, this cast has a lot of beautiful women. And instead of just coming in there and being a girl's girl and rolling with the punches and being like, whatever, she's trying to regulate how they run their relationships and how they do things. I can't stand people like that. So.
Definitely Elsa said what? 2012 MTV dating show.
Not 12 years of dating show ago. Come on now.
What show was that?
She could have left that out her bio.
That was the first one.
It had to be like Eliminated or something. That's the only thing that was going on in 2012. Or that dating show where they kick people off the bus. You go on that bus and they kick you off the bus. Is that next? Is that the one on the bus next? I think that's the one on the bus.
Oh Lord, they ripping this poor lady up. All right, let's move on.
Regulate your blood pressure is wild.
Let's move on. We don't need to tear up the lady.
I didn't even say
that. I mean,
they got to tear her up now.
She did bring a point about sexual attraction or whatever. Is that important? She brought that point because she was saying like there needs to be some sexual chemistry from the jump. Is that important? Because she mentioned it because I think she was talking about Ashanti in that respect, innit? I mean, it's not like Dominique said she was sexually attracted to Cardi, but she made that point. So is that important? Is the ex has the ex got a point in that regard?
You should have it, but she can't speak to how people gain their sexual attraction. Perhaps Ashanti, she gains her sexual attraction through friendship. And then that's how she grows to be attracted to someone. The problem is she's trying to tell somebody how they get to where they get to. Kojo, for you, you may need to find like the attraction from the jump. It's it. If you don't have it, you're cooked. Other people, they need to get to know your mind before they know, you know, they can feel anything for you. I just never understand how other people gonna have to feel like they can tell people how they run their situation. I didn't mind her asking. Hey, you said that's my home? That's my what home?
That's my dog.
Dog. I didn't mind her asking. You know, what do you mean by that? Because that seems friend-like. And if she would have said, "Oh yeah, no, I get that, but that's just being friends is something that's important to me," that should be the end of the discussion. The issue was you can ask, but she was trying to like regulate the situation. It's like, come on now. But that's my answer. I don't know what other people think.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm curious because I know Ashanti was in the chat earlier. I want to know what she meant by that dog, because that is all signs point to friend zonage, heavy friend zonage. If you refer to somebody, especially in the early stages, that's creating a boundary that is very platonic. So I would love to hear what she meant by that, because it sounded very friendship like.
But you see how you just asked that question, Sean? That's what all you got to do. Hey, that sounds like a friendship kind of connotation to me. What does that mean?
Well, Ashanti did say that she prefers to be friends first before she gets into something. You know what I'm saying?
Then
she did say that.
Then Miss Mama's after that then says, well, that's just not how things go. And it's like, well, you can't tell people you can't tell people how that works.
She said Cardi's not like that. Cardi likes the attraction from the very beginning. So she's cooked. I was gonna say she's cooked, she's fried, she's boiled at all things.
and how many years ago was it that Cardi liked that kind of experience? You know, maybe he's grown. I mean, daggone it. It's the way she framed it. Yes, she could ask. She's like, hey, you're sounding more friendship. It sounded like you're putting Cardi in the friend zone. That's what it sounded like. Could you clear it up? But once Ashanti said, hey, but that's how I start my romantic feelings, like, let it go.
Let's end the discussion. Where my anger
I mean, I would have some pushback on that, though. I would need to ask more clarifying questions, and this is me being the person that would be dating her, because I think we're blurring the lines. Yes, our people, have a you would like to be friends in a relationship first, but do you see a romantic future? Is there an attraction there? You know what I mean? Like, you will know that on the surface when you look at the person. Now, how far you would take that, yes, that's going to determine as you get to know someone. But you should be able to, at face value, just looking at him, the little bit of information that you have up to this point, is there attraction? Is there a little something? Is there a slight spark? Is there nothing at all? Is it strictly friendship? Like, you don't even see a path forward for a relationship? Like, I would want to know that.
I'm with you. But we are men, so we prefer it that way. But the ladies have told us they're not doing it that way. So, but I hear you, Sean.
That's hogwash, because if their crush shows up, they can understand and have a tingling, and they'll be like, yeah, because I be listening to the ladies. I got very many women friends, and they be talking about when they get activated when they see somebody that is attractive. So they might not take it a step further and do something with that person until there's a connection or really want a relationship. But when you see something that you like, or when you're like, yeah, I could see that with them. And then when it's a no too. Women say it all the time. They go on a first date with somebody that was like, yeah, never gonna get it, never gonna get it. There's songs about it. So let's not gaslight people. You know, sometimes they do that when they want to just kick the can down a little bit and say, maybe, maybe there's a chance, perhaps, I'll keep you in my back pocket if the person that I really like falls through, or I'm just kind of tossing around the idea, but they be knowing. I'm sorry. They be knowing.
Or maybe I just don't want his ex knowing that I want to hump his leg. I mean, come on now.
Would you have to say hump? What about if you just say that you are definitely attracted to me?
Well, since we're not policing how the ex talked to her, don't police how I'm going to talk about it. I mean, geez.
Nobody said anything about humping no legs. All I said is
my favorite line was when she was like, "Well, since you want to talk so much, you act like he got it going on. Tell the class. We all want to know."
So Cardi has no clue whether Ashanti wants it or not, basically.
That's not something I would discuss in front of his ex. Certainly not.
I'm not telling that lady anything.
Now, guys, come on. It's simply, I find him. That's the whole point of this, is to dig deep. It's fine. We don't have to talk about the whole sex and intimacy part of it, but you can say, yeah, I find him attractive. I like him. You could say something.
You come at me like that, I'm not answering no more of your questions. I'm gonna play.
But now you're hurting me, and you're not hurting her. You're hurting me because you're leaving me in the dark in the clouds because you're trying to prove a point to my ex.
I can call your phone.
Well,
see, there's one of two ways.
You call my phone expeditiously, but I want the world to know.
First, I'll be dialing you up as soon as we leave the door.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you that lady and her back wasn't getting no answer out of me.
That's how I know that you're ugly to that person. I'm just gonna say it straight. You're ugly to that person. No, I'm sorry. I don't care what anyone says.
I'm just not answering no questions from that lady.
If Chris Brown's ex. Sorry, Chris Brown's even worse edition. Your favorite person who you find attractive, super attractive, their ex came in and said all that nonsense they were saying, and they asked you a question, do you find them attractive? You'd be able to answer that question. I always feel like it's just, I think you would to say, yes, I do find them attractive. I'm not answering any more questions.
I don't think she asked that question. I don't even think that question was asked like that.
Well, I mean, she asked why did you say dog? Would you say dog to the person? I always think that when someone says the dog situation, they're trying to downplay whatever connection it is. Or
yes, ugly. And I would downplay it because this is not the venue.
I'm not trying to find out if you're downplaying me. Since you're downplaying me, you need to be playing elsewhere. Like we need to stop that nonsense. Like, imagine if I come and you ask me, do I like her? Well,
Okay.
Could be.
Don't give us a deep side.
Like, I don't understand why it's hard to just say that you like the person. You know what I'm saying to you, or you fancy the person. Like,
it's only two ways to play it. Either play it like she did, or you play it overtly. And I don't know. It depends on how wild I feel that evening is how I would have played it. She played it well.
Y'all, can we be nice? Not you, Elsid. I'm talking about the comments.
Now, nobody was even gonna say nothing. You highlighted the comments,
right?
No, because that's not the first one. There's been a whole slew of them, and they come in fast and furious. Yes, I know we don't like her approach, but let's try to be a little bit. Let's give us some grace.
Let's just say the Cardi experience, left everybody exposed to. How can I say it? The fire from the ex, because production showed us all of this. We didn't see her ask Shannon questions very much. We didn't see her other than the beginning ask Dom questions, Dominique. So come on now.
That's because she clocked an up, and I have to rate her for that. She clocked an up. Sometimes when you clock an up, sometimes you get a little bit caught up in the warfare. But
what are you saying, Kojo? I don't understand what you're saying.
She clocked
the up.
Oh, I didn't understand his accent. What he was saying.
Yeah, she got some. Like, and I've been saying this. I've been saying this for men as well. And maybe this is Cardi's also a big problem. I think for men across the globe, I honestly sometimes feel like some of us men too also settle. We settle for people that actually are okay with us. They don't like us like that. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, that's how I felt about Ashanti in that moment. I was like, she's okay with him. And I think to myself that Cardi, I'm saying to ladies, choose someone that really is liking you, that wants you, that you don't have to second guess this person likes you. you get what I'm saying to you? And the same for the fellas too. We should be pushing for ourselves to also choose people that there's no second guessing. Like, I don't have to play the game of trying to figure out, like, are you liking me or not liking me? I think I think we should be choosing people that are 100% on us and getting rid of everybody else that's doing 50%, saying, well, you know, no. If you're on me, you're on me. Because when you do like that person, you really, really like that person. Listen, women approach men when they really like them. Women will do the absolute most when they like them. Now, Elsie's going to disagree because she's never done it in her entire life, and I hear it. But the reality is, a lot of women will when they like you. So I'm saying for us men, we shouldn't be settling for the I'm your dog or the half answer. I'm not going to answer it. You know what? You're not going to answer it. I hear it. Let's move on.
Choose yourself, king, man. We've been saying it. Choose yourself, king. Put yourself first.
Why am I trying to convince your ex that I want you?
No, El Cid, let them. They got
to even convince me.
First. They got to put themselves first, El Cid.
You haven't even convinced me. You can't even say the words publicly.
So then, keeping quiet, Cardi put himself first because he wouldn't put himself in the line of fire.
Let these kings put themselves first. Let them put themselves first.
Okay.
Cardi's a problem too by not handling the room. We already agreed that. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But Ashanti could have said like yes, I do like him, and they would have ended it. So instead of trying to go around the mill, like, we're gonna be friends.
Yeah, she could have also said, "Who you think braided his hair?" and shut it down. I mean, come on now.
I just think sometimes we look at things as a zero-sum game. You know, like, I just feel like it doesn't have to be a zero sum. We could find ways to meet each other in the middle. Just like there's better ways for Cardi to have handled the way his ex, you know, some of the things she was asking that were inappropriate or just off color. There's ways for Ashanti to be able to articulate her interests without going cold or downplaying the fact of if she likes him or not. Now, you ask me, I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. And that's why I was pushing it off. And I think that's just her nice way, especially knowing they're filming, that she don't want to say the whole thing. Because when she got to talking to Bello, I didn't hear nothing about no dogs. I saw eyes batting. I saw very leaned in body language. I saw what attractions looked like. She was happy that he cut his hair. So yeah.
She did say that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, this is not the hill that I'm gonna die on. I can't speak for El Cid. I'm not dying on this hill. You guys got a point. You want a woman that's a little bit more clear about the, you know, how they feel about you. Great. I thought the question pending was if that lady should have been doing all that at that table, and how. And the answer to me is no. You know. So.
Seaway trying to do the best to deflect. We asked the question about Ashanti. Was she not able to articulate how much she likes him? That's the question now. That's the question.
Well, I don't know.
We understand. We agree.
I don't know what was cut out and what was going on. All I know is she had a lady sitting across from her, squeezing that dress, harassing her about her own preferences. Personally, at that point, I don't know what I would say. Because now I'm not even thinking about expressing my feelings. I'm thinking that I got to defend myself from this lady.
We're going to mute you like they tried to do Fonnie Willis at the Senate hearings if you don't stop
what
that.
You should have been doing is investigate. I'll give you something to investigate.
Seaway, should you answer that question?
Look, that Fonnie Will, that is golded. Honestly, if this was Corday and his braids, if this would have been him having these questions, it would have been valid. Corday.
Corday. I thought she even called Corduroy. I was like, oh my God. Corduroy.
Cartier. If this was Cardi's grievance and he was speaking up about it, I would have been like, fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, if this was his issue, but the fact he got that lady speaking for him like his agent, his power of attorney, then I just don't even take any of these grievances seriously. Cardi ain't mentioned none of this stuff. That's this lady over here doing that.
He won't mention anything because he doesn't talk much. You've already seen that. So I definitely hear that. It's dead like somebody's fox. Let's get to the next one. I didn't realize it was so quick. Sorry, I apologize. It's meant to be Darius and thingy. Hold on.
Hot rainbow. Is this too hot? Let's see. turn the heat this off. It's too hot. We can't hear it.
Well, first. Oh, sorry. Apologies. Let me play a little bit more of the clip then. Hold on. Sorry, I apologize. I had muted it. You're right. Thank you.
I had a surprise for you.
Okay. Oh my God, what did this guy just get me?
I said, baby, I'm coming with a coyote. I'm gonna have a whole wolf on me. Remember I said that?
Yeah, I remember.
With the head on there. And the feet. And the feet.
I don't care.
You,
Like,
you seen the
I like
barbarian?
stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. I like
people that be themselves. Yeah.
I mean, I like the fox. I can't lie to you. I think the fox is pretty cool. I can't lie to you. I think the fox was quite cool. But Darius obviously had a date with. I didn't even know Nicole and him even had a connection. I can't lie to you. I didn't even know. So I don't know if she got thrusted into there or this is poor storytelling. So I didn't know how to date, and then you know, Darius and obviously Ashley. You know, someone says a poodle. Okay, no, okay. A correction. Thank you.
They're being funny, Coach.
That's a whole fox, a white one at that. And me and Seaway have opinions.
You might as well let me start because I'm gonna bring down the mood because I have something to say about this guy dog thing that he's constantly wearing.
Go for it then. There's no problem.
Let me just say this. That man wearing dead foxes on your body to me is so deplorable. It is so awful, and I actually don't even think it's funny. I recommend everybody go on YouTube and go over the Tick of the Talk and look on how they actually farm these foxes, how they put these little sweet animals in cages. They store them it's such an inhumane way. You actually there's people who try to save foxes. I've done a whole TikTok rabbit hole about it. It's actually very disgusting. It is one thing if you have one fur because you live in really cold and that's the way you stay warm, but to parade the way he's parading a life on his neck, like that's cute with the head and the feet, to me that's a sickness. And I'm going to say this, people who are able to disregard humanity, whether they're foxes or other animals, tend to be sociopaths, serial killers. They also tend to be people who go on to harm humans. I don't take it light, the disregard of a life. And having a fox on your neck and the feet and you think that's cute, that's not cute. I don't care if it's so Detroit, it's disgusting. And her, oh my God, he got me a fox. Where's Peter at? I didn't like it. I'm just going to say that. I didn't think it was funny.
I've been calling Peter before this moment with Darius. I do understand where Seaway is coming from. I'm going to try and bring the strength down in the room a little bit. In that it's not for me. It's not a gift that I would accept. That is not a gift that I would like. But it did tell me, you know, the type of gift that he was giving, the type of gift that Ashley would accept from him. He certainly told her he was going to do this in the beginning at that first mix as we saw the highlight, and he certainly kept that promise. Do I like that's a promise kept? No. But I'm going to say to each his own, and I'm a side eye exactly that gift. Why is that the gift you wish to give? Why is that the road you wish to go down? Okay. Now, in that same vein, if we are on the path, you know, the same path, we also got to look at the humanity in many of the things that we are doing. But that is a long list, and I'm going to leave it right there as far as Ashley and Darius and that fox.
Yeah, I have very similar strong thoughts. You know, it's one thing to indulge, but I don't know why it just troubles me. And beyond me being a pet parent, I just like at what point, I'm telling you, and I did a whole deep dive in our group chat, and Kojo doesn't want to pay me any mind. He was laughing at me. But I think all these clothes and all of these things are armor. It's armor to protect the facade of us really getting to know who he really is. So he cloaks himself and all of these grandiose things to hide from who he really is. You know, and Rhonda One did a nice little interview on her channel. I don't want to say little because when people say that, that sounds like you're diminishing it. So I'll take that back. Rhonda did an interview on her channel of somebody, a woman claiming to be his ex-wife. And I'll just encourage y'all to, you know, when y'all get a chance to go over there, Rhonda O1's channel. I think that's her channel name. But yeah, it's just very interesting. So I think he's hiding some things, and all these dead animals, you want to have one fur, maybe two, but every scene it's a different dead one. He's single-handedly taking down the ecosystem. You know, and urban sprawl is bad enough. The animals don't have habitat, and now we just slaughtering them for GP. And the whole fox, I mean, the eyeballs, the paws, the fur, the head, the full body. You don't feel some type of way with a fox looking up at your face when you look down at your neck? Yeah, no. That's symptomatic of something. Yeah, that's symptomatic. I'm sorry. I don't know what he's hiding exactly, but he's hiding something, and that is too much peacocking, and it needs to stop.
You know, maybe it's just me. I don't have animals, so that's probably why I don't see it the same way. I don't really care. I don't care. I really don't. At some point in our society, we had to, you know, make fur from real animals. So I really don't. You know what I mean? As long as you're not breaking the law and you ain't doing nothing you shouldn't do, I'm not gonna be getting onto your neck. You know what I'm saying, Chew? I mean, you taking a little bit of a fox or a dog here. If you ain't breaking no laws, I'm not on your neck. You know what I'm saying?
Are we not all God's creatures?
I mean, listen,
you're one of the holy rollers on the live. I'm just saying, are we not all of God's creatures?
And there is nothing, again, there's nothing necessarily wrong if he's taking a fox to make it into a fur.
He's making a fur to parade it. He's not doing it for shelter. He's not doing
Even
it.
so,
He's doing it to parade it.
I think the argument can be used in many different ways. I think the fact that we have cheap labor in Africa, and I'm part of this problem too, and they or cheap labor in China, they out here using child labor, and we out here wearing the clothes.
Okay, but that's now we're doing that argument. That's like a full circular argument. That may not be okay either. What I'm saying is that when people are parading, violating God's creatures, it's not about the law. It's about that's a demonic energy. He's doing it because he feels like he can. And I think that if we believe that we are all God's creatures, that includes everybody. That's also foxes. That means that I don't go stump on or try to kill a squirrel just because I can. I wouldn't do that because it's all God's creatures. And I'm not trying to get into like the PETA, you know what I mean? I don't believe that humans are the only people on this planet that matters. And I believe that we all matter. And I think the big red flag is kind of like the injustice everywhere. Anywhere is injustice everywhere. I think a lot of times when you see people do harm to other people, if it doesn't affect us, then we're like, oh, throw our hands. But my thing is, even if someone doesn't care about the death of a fox, my thing is oftentimes when you see people making light of God's creatures, they don't see the humanity in anyone. And so I wouldn't be surprised if the same person that can look down at a fox, his eyes, his mouth, his feet, something that was living and breathing, they too would look at the lady that he's playing, because he's playing, what's her name, Ashley? He doesn't see her humanity either. She's a goofy to him. She's a goofy that ain't never got nothing, ain't never received nothing, don't know nothing, and she's impressed with nonsense. So he found him a goofy. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's very clear that she is not impressed. She is impressed with anything because she ain't never had nothing. That's the reason why when he pulls the fox out of his bag, she's like, oh my God. And so because he doesn't respect the fox and he doesn't respect her, he appears to be a scammer.
He could be that one, yeah. I would separate the two issues. I would say that he could be he could be a scammer. He could be, even not the greatest partner. And I wouldn't even fight with you. I was merely just kind of commenting on the close part again. Like I said, a lot of times when we're not next to something, we're often disassociated from it. And I think for me, I can't take a moral high ground if I'm wearing. We have a shop called Primark. I'm sure you guys have a shop that's very similar. The t-shirts cost £4. They come from somewhere. Now, if someone showed me a video of the child labor, maybe I might look at it differently. But we all know the child labor is happening. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Right? The same thing when we buy chocolate bars. Chocolate bars come from the fact that we actively participate in them taking advantage of cocoa farmers. If we show them a video, maybe we would change our mindset. But guess what? We don't, because we disassociate from it. So I feel like I can't take a moral high ground on this instance, because it's like there are so many different things that we benefit from. You have an iPhone which takes stuff from cobalt in Congo, and people are having a whole civil war, and they're taking from the mines, and there are people who are having to risk their lives so you and I could have an iPhone. So at that point, when do I then say, okay, well, you happy to be in that situation too? Like, because unless he's actively him going to do the foxes, then it's kind of slightly different. But if I'm taking that stance, and that's how I feel, I'm not saying you have to, I'm saying then I have to look at it differently on every single thing that we do in that sense, because most of us in the Western world are benefiting from the fact that the labor is unfortunately based somewhere where they get paid less considerably, and now people are passing away and dying as well, but we benefit. So
that's why exposure to the things that you're talking about prevents the harm that you're talking about. That's like when the more that you expose to people to what is going on, they're actually able to do their part to prevent the harms that you're speaking on. And that's why I actually talk about what's going on. I speak on these issues, and I speak on how the foxes and things that are, how they're treated. So maybe if you weren't exposed to what I'm talking about, then you would say, hey, I don't want to, participate in this harm as well. And to a few people who are talking about, I'm bringing God in this, these are the same fake holy rollers that I be talking about, these fake Christians that be on here talking about this and that. God is a part of everything. For the people who actually are talking about they believe in God, God created this universe, and he created everything inside of it. And yes, it is in the Bible that you should not disrespect or belittle God's creatures if you actually read the Bible. So when you talk about don't put God in it, God is in everything. God is in everything that we do. And if you're okay in harming things for sport, then maybe you need to read the Bible again. And I ain't got to be a Bible thumper to tell you that. So when you're talking about things that we do, we're all part of an ecosystem. That's the reason why, different people have to hunt or survive. That's different than making sport of God's creatures. I'm not upset. And actually, if you say I'm upset, please, my block button is heavy. I'm actually not using this, but don't make me. I'm actually just speaking passionately about a subject that matters. And it's okay for women to be passionate. That doesn't make us upset. It makes us passionate about a topic. I know we're so close to, we're always thinking that women are upset because we're passionate, and that's also a part of the patriarchy and misogyny. I'm just passionate about the issue. I'm not upset at all.
And I would just add that I think that, I don't want to speak for Seaway, but I'll talk for myself. The thing that has me like more emboldened about having an opinion on this and the fur and connecting it to the fur is because it's excessive. Like it is very excessive. It's not like we just saw one fur and we're flipping out. You know what I mean? Like he's had multiple furs in various colors. Every scene he's got on some different fur. Now he's escalated to having the whole animal wrapped around his neck, and he's given the young lady Ashley, I think is her name, given her now a whole fox, a whole another one with eyes and paws and in its whole body and form. It's like taxidermy. So yeah, if I go to somebody's house and I see an elk on the wall, I see a bear's head on the wall, I'm gonna freak out a little bit. I'm gonna be like, why do you feel like you need to put that on the wall? Do I eat chicken? Do I eat meat? Do I eat cows? Yes, I understand that conceptually. But when people go out of their way to an excessive point and an extreme, yeah, it elicits opinion. People are gonna talk about it. It's jarring. and you're going to want to know why do you have to go so far to be this peacockish, and now you're parading a whole dead animal wrapped around your neck. I think it's odd and noteworthy and something to talk about.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, I see a lot of people, and I'm not trying to belittle anyone, but I do think it's a sign of lacking critical thinking. When you're mentioning meat, fish, things that we eat to sustain ourselves, is quite different than, like Sean said, parading a dead animal for sport. And if that nuance is something that needs to be explained further, then I don't quite know how to explain that further. There are people who also would like to avoid meat in general because they don't want to participate. That's their choice. But whoever wants to parade their fox, they can parade their fox, y'all. That's on y'all.
I think in that vein, in sticking kind of like to the middle of the road, I think in that vein, I think what some people, not a lot, what some people are saying, the ones who bring up the whole, well, you eat meat and you said there's a difference between, eating to sustain, is that you don't necessarily need to have that. That may be their opinion of it. Now, I have remained quiet because, y'all know I've had chicken, I've had quail, and I have known how to process an animal. Okay. So I have remained quiet because, as I said, that fox ain't for me. I ain't gonna wear it. I ain't gonna use it to keep me warm. Okay. Not gonna have it. But that's me. I will look at Darius and I'm gonna look at Ashley. It's like she accepted that gift. That is something that she thinks is acceptable. I'm gonna look at them and their desire for this. They're, using this, wearing this. And that's as far as I'm going to go with it. I'm not going to go any further than right here on the show. It ain't for me. Is that an appropriate gift? I don't think so. The fact that you pulled it out of a gift bag, and if it was an actual fur, that ain't the way you handle an actual fur. So I really don't think it's an actual fur. I think it's synthetic. Okay. But that's just me. That's just me. That is my thought on it. I think it was bought at TJ Maxx or Ross and put in the gift bag. Okay. But it does not dissuade, go away from what Seaway and Sean's argument is. It ain't for them. It's not for them. It is parading that animal in a, inhumane manner. Again, but if I go to somebody's house, Sean just said, if he sees, something that is a trophy on somebody's wall, he look at them differently. I will see that differently since I have gone hunting. I have done that. So again, it is based on our experience. It is based on what we feel is appropriate for us. And I just am going to look at Darius and Ashley. And here's my thing with Own. That white fox, technically, white foxes, endangered species.
That's true.
Technically. So I would not have put that on this TV, but that's just me.
Again, I guess maybe I don't think I even hold a middle ground. I just don't care. I can't lie to you. And I don't think it's that deep. I really don't. Now, if we want to talk about maybe his character and how he behaves and that maybe he's using the flashy clothes, that's less about fur and more about the flashy clothes. But as a general principle about fur and whether it's this, at one point we hunted, we did these things, you know what I mean? And maybe the Detroit culture got a bit of it. First of all, I don't even know if it's a real fur because they haven't said if it's a real fur or not. So if it's a false fur, then this argument, it falls on deaf ears because it's not even real, you know what I mean? But if it's like real fur, again, once more, I think the key thing here is that, again, once more, is is he breaking any laws? Is he breaking any laws? If we want to have a conversation about process, again, we then have to have a conversation about a lot of things. The chicken that you buy from the store is inhumanely bred in the farms that they actually have. Are we now going to go to the farms and have a fight with a chicken farmer? No, you're gonna eat that chicken. You're gonna be excited, eat that chicken while that chicken's legs were breaking under its own weight because it was too fat. We're not gonna have that conversation. And that's why I've said to you, unless they're breaking a law, I don't wanna label anybody as being a psychopath for taking fur when really and truly, again, they haven't broken the law. And again, I don't know if it's real fur, number two. And number three, whether him having the fur is different from him also processing the fur. Like if he's the one that's having to go after the fox and then inhumanely, unaliving that fur, that fox, then we can have another conversation about that in that instance, right? But like as far as I'm aware, for me personally, it's like I don't want to label someone as anything in that regard because, boy, to other people, we all look a bit mad when we're happily sitting in our houses, cozy, eating food, chopping on certain things when we don't know the process of what's happening in someone else's environment. It's like it feels for me to judge it. It feels rich for me to do it because it's like there's other things I do and that contribute towards an ecosystem that benefits me but doesn't benefit the brother who's not somewhere else. That's what I'm saying for me. But I understand why you guys may feel that way. I just have a different.
Don't worry, you don't have to label it. I will, and I'm sure his behavior in the future and the things that we'll find out more about him will show that usually I just be early. So, and I'm usually just not wrong. I'm just early. And so I think, unfortunately, we're going to start to see, and maybe you'll change your opinion, the correlation between people parading dead animals for sport around their neck. And it can't be a faux fur if it has a face of a fox on there. We'll see if there's a correlation between how he treats dead animals and how he treats human beings. And I'm sure we'll see that it won't be much different. So,
but do we know if it's a real fur? I know he's got a face on there, but do we know if it's real fur?
Kojo, that was a whole animal's body. That's not it's real, Kojo. It was a whole fox.
Wait. People can manufacture things. Do we know if it's real or not? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I always say we can't manufacture that. Is that real or not? Do we know? We know it's in fur, but is it real? Do we know? Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying to, like, I'm not saying we can't have an opinion. I'm saying that we have to. I think we should be cautious about how we just jump into something. If you can't confirm it's a real fur, I'd say hold. Let's hold. We can have the opinion, but let's hold. We don't know if it's a real fur. You know what I'm saying to you? If it is, all right, cool, but we don't know if it's a real fur as of such. You know what I'm saying to you? So for me, it's just like, I don't want to jump into that unless we have some understanding that, okay, this is definitely real. It's something that's authentic, the way he's dealing with it. Do you know what I mean? Okay. But what do we feel about, obviously, their connection? How do we feel about their connection between Darius and Ashley? What's our viewpoint on their connection? Because obviously, again, we've seen how with Darius, he's quite flashy, he's quite bright, but he has been talking with Ashley and they seem to be getting along quite well, having some good conversations as well. But obviously they met the ex. And there was obviously a difference between Nicole and between Ashley. Ashley seemed to be very much involved with Darius, whereas Nicole was a bit more like, hey, I'm trying to fit into your life. And obviously the ex then was like saying, she didn't feel like Nicole was a good job. But yeah, I want to get your thoughts. What do we think about Nicole versus Ashley and how they presented themselves in regards to the ex? How do we see that position? How do we see that position?
You got a clip?
So, honest opinion, when you first seen Darius, what was your first thought?
My first thought was he ain't gonna like me. that was my first thought.
I was like, woo!
I like the look,
That thing was very, very quick. I don't know why it was so quick, but Yeah, they were flicking through their scenes very, very quickly. But yeah, any thoughts on their connection? There wasn't much that was kind of shown. I can show you a little bit more actually. Here we go.
So Bello don't mind a little PDA because at this point he done kissed me and he wanted to. And I kissed him back.
Nice meeting you,
Nice to
Ashley.
meet you,
I love your
Ashley.
name.
I think the conversation with the ex went very well. She gave me a lot of insight on him, so I just want to explore more. But she was a very nice girl. He picked well.
Overall, I think Darius loved a confident woman. So when you walk in a room,
well, Lila Nicole was drowning. You know, I want to know your thoughts, guys. What's your thoughts on the Nicole? Was Nicole obviously, unfortunately, it seemed like she was not able to be her most, her most confident self. It almost seemed like. What's our thoughts around Nicole and Ashley and the ex and Darius situation? I guess not much happened on this scene. Then we didn't see much happen on the scene.
He traded in one Ashley for another. I'm sorry. I'm not sure I buy his connections, or his connection to her, or this connection with Nicole. When did this happen? When did Darius romance Nicole to this point? I just don't get it. It doesn't flow for me. It seems like it was just like, here you go, Nicole, add her to the mix. That's why, he didn't have a problem giving gifts, outside, but he didn't have a problem giving a gift, okay, to only Ashley. But the fact that his ex Ashley and the current Ashley, yeah, even if he calling your name, are you sure he think about you, Ashley, or the ex Ashley? That's just my diabolical mind. But I didn't see much. I just saw him, or his ex telling them that he likes to parade around, he likes to be looked at, he likes to engage with the room, and you need to match his fly. And for me, that's very superficial. I didn't learn anything else about Darius really at all. I mean, did she meet his children? How did that go? I was like, there ain't much I learned.
Sean, any other thoughts, sir?
Yeah, just very surface level. I think it's extremely surface level in terms of the conversations he's having. I would have loved to hear, I think he's the one, and I know Elsa, I think you probably know a little bit more. I think he has was it 3 or 4 kids? 4, right? So I would have loved to know stuff about the co-parenting, tell me how that's working, was he married before? Like, this is the stuff that we want to talk about. And, what's his relationship style? Not all this surface fluff nonsense. So I really wish he would dig a little bit deeper than he's going. And I think that just ties right back into our original, discussion that, we were talking about in terms of all his regalia that he loves to parade around, dead animals or otherwise.
See, any thoughts on Ashley and Darius connection at all, and Nicole as well?
No, nothing further on this. I can't get a good read for who he is as a person, and I think until then it's kind of hard to. It's just kind of hard to judge. I think at this point we're still so surface. So.
That's fair. All right, cool. We will move on to Master Bello.
Hi. Hello. Dominic always comes with it. The moment she walked into the room, Tara was like, ooh, girl, okay, I see you.
So far, your selection seems pretty good. Why do you what attracted you to him?
I felt like when he walked in the room, I locked eyes with him, and it felt like.
Well, Master Bello and Dominique and Ashanti had a triangle with the ex as well, and it seems like this situation with them, she was definitely looking at him with some eyes. I can't lie, Dominique. Ashanti, I liked her connection with Bello. It seemed genuine. It seemed like they were really connecting cerebrally rather than physically per se. And then it was an interesting kind of vibe as well. What's your thoughts on I guess I wouldn't say the experience, but the conversation between the ex, Bello, Dominique, Ashanti? How do we read it in that situation? Someone said we were told Bello to go bold. Thank God. Oh, gracious King. See what you want to say something? No?
I'll go last.
What was your question about Ashanti and Bello or Bello and Dom?
Oh, just the whole interaction. Just hold on. You can take it in the direction you want to.
Okay, I liked his ex. She came in knowing the assignment and remembering it. She seemed genuinely wanting to find out, how are you connected to Bello? How do you see your relationship? She seemed very inquisitive, okay? Didn't seem like she wants to get back with Bello or anything like that. Seemed very much, we are not, and never will be again. Dominique, kept her eye on the prize, kept her focus on Bello, and was reeling him in. I want to know, what is Bello talking to Ashanti about if he didn't know on the intellectual side? Okay. I guess we'll leave the exit later on, but the exit, not awkward at all. You have another connection inside. These two need to just leave the show together if this is what we're gonna have. You're kissing him at the door, like he's kissing you outside with the, his other connection inside. Y'all need to just ride off into the sunset together. Okay? Just do it. I felt it was a little bit awkward because if he doesn't end up with Dominique, what are we saying? Oh, we were just in the process. I mean, does anybody, have any rules or boundaries within the process? As far as, kissing and stuff like that? That'll just be my questions. But definitely they seem, for me, more of a physical connection. I haven't heard much about them other than their physical chemistry. What book is he reading that Dom knows, or vice versa? I mean, I haven't heard anything else other than we're physically connected. And then now, he does know about her, whether she wants to have children or not. Other than that, I feel it's very surface with them.
Sean?
I'll go back to my original point. You can tell when Ashanti likes somebody, and if I were a betting man, I think she likes Bello a lot more than she likes Cardi, and that's quite apparent, And I think this is all we're looking for. This is a prime example of what we're looking for. Is like, let me know that I'm not barking up the wrong tree. And I mean, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but the whole idea is like, if you know that there's no interest at all, like you're just not feeling it, that's okay. It really is. But when it becomes to not be okay is when you know it, but you kick in the can just to do it at a later time or to wait for some other better option to come along. That's when I think it's problematic. So I think there was some nice chemistry. I think it's great when, they bonded over books. I think it was a Winnie Mandela book that came up. I love that. That's my kind of like, connection. We're talking about things. We're talking about people's lives, things that we've learned. So I really like to see them. And she was impressed by his haircut. So, hey, I think winner, winner, chicken dinner. We know what it looks like when there's a little bit of a spark. Don't mean it's going to go all the way, but at least there's a spark and something to start with.
Yeah, I mean, I really did like their connection. I like that they have shared interests. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I didn't even see this connection forming. I thought she was more interested in that quiet, light-skinned one, the teacher.
Steven.
So I didn't even know that this was kind of a connection. But it seems like Bello is just so sexually enamored or whatever with Dominique. I just wonder how, other people are going to fit into that mix. It seems like him and Ashanti have a good connection. But with them kissing at the door, I don't know how, how the other connections are really going to fit in. So.
I mean, listen, I think personally, that I think with I think that obviously obviously Ashanti and Bello, like I said, I think it was unique in terms of, like I said, it felt like they might have a cerebral connection. Do you get me? And clearly that's what she likes. I think when she said when she said dog for Cardi, she meant like she's not connected with him mentally, and that is stopping the connection. Do you get me? But the way that them two seemed to, as soon as he said that, he seemed to just light up, and he opened himself up more to her. It seemed like, of course, we haven't really seen much of their connection because, again, I don't know what Ready to Love is doing, not telling stories, but yeah, he seemed to be, opening up to her as well in that space, and I think that was really important because, I think that shows me there's another self of Bello that maybe it's not being able to be accessed by being with someone like Dominique. So I think that's why he stays with I'll go to Ashanti. I think there's another part of him that's not accessed with Dominique as such. I think the game, the sensuality, the sexiness, it's all wonderful. I wonder if he does get that mental aspect with her as well. But I can't guarantee that. He maybe do as well, but it just seemed like she was filling that hole in that space. Oh, yeah. Any other thoughts on their connection? No. Moving on. Okay. Thank you. All right, let's move it on then, shall we? Okay, let's go to Master Vince. Master Vince had a date with his ex, and baby, what a date it was.
Now they're debating about debating. And I was thinking, it does take two people now. She wanted to have the last word. You can stop talking. That would stop it.
She asked me the question, I answered her question. It was between me and her.
I'm sitting here. What do you mean it was between you and I?
Right, she asked me why it didn't work.
The way old girl was still arguing with Vince, she still wants that man. She's not over him enough. I'm sorry. She still wants that man, and she gonna be in the picture somehow, some way. But that's just my personal thought, What do we think about Vince, Donna, the ex situation, also with oh my gosh. The car. Oh gosh, sorry. And Ashanti as well. What was our thoughts on their situation? Because I ain't gonna lie to you, that was the fact that they were arguing while the people were right in front of him is crazy. Yes.
I mean, Donna may be perfect for Vince or she just really, really wants to be picked really, really bad. I don't know, but the ex saying that he was argumentative and then they proceed to argue actually had me in tears. And it seems like he don't back down from an argument, and neither did the ex. But she was trying to prove her point. But if Donna like it, I love it. Personally, I don't like a real argumentative man, but Donna seems to see everything that Vince is coming with and say, hey, I like it. Bring it on. So she's cool with it. I thought it was a great date, though, to get to know Vince a little better. It kind of solidifies who he is. The ex said that she didn't really have a lot of problems with him outside the fact that she got tired of tussling. So if she don't mind that, cool. That's my thoughts on it.
I find it very interesting that both Donna and Kojo came and say, well, the ex could have stopped arguing with him. Vince can stop too. I mean, why is the onus only on the ex and she needs to stop the argument, or she needs to stop engaging with him? Vince needs to stop too. The onus is technically on him. This is his, his moment. This is his date. He could stop it too. He doesn't need to rise to the occasion. Ashanti already knew argumentative Vince from the cooking date with Lauren and Cardi as well. So Ashanti was not surprised at this Vince. And I was halfway expecting folks to say that Donna seemed very, male-centered, since she put the onus on the young lady to end stuff and not on the gentleman in question. But Vince, she proved the point. She proved the point that you are still argumentative. But we already saw it with the date with Ashanti. We already saw it. We already saw it with, on other occasions. So we were not surprised. We were just surprised that you didn't stop while in front of potential connections. So are connections that strong, or are you just comfortable and don't care how you're perceived by these ladies? Okay? So why are we arguing with an answer? She answered the question. You don't have to address her. You could address the lady, say, hey, I see it differently, but once you get to know me, you're going to see differently. That's it. That's it. But okay. I just was like, everybody's like, she could have stopped the argument. No. Just like we told Cardi, he should have stopped that what was going on. Okay. So just like we said, Cardi should have taken control and handled the, environment. Is the same thing with Vince. He should have stopped and handled the environment and not, allow it to escalate.
Hey, I definitely hear you. And yes, I said the ex could have started arguing with him because she proved the point that she's a part of the problem. That's the point. She said he was argumentative and then began to argue with him. So we already know Vince is argumentative. And then you go and show us that you also argumentative, but you then prove the point that you're both argumentative. So don't put it on Vince alone. It's both of you. We already know Vince is argumentative, but now you've shown yourself to be argumentative too. So that's why I said she didn't have to argue with him. Do you get me? Because you're over him. Why am I arguing? I don't argue with exes that I'm over, bro. I don't need to argue with you. I'm sorry. I don't be arguing with exes that I'm over, bro. Like, yo, you know what? You can have it. You said that. You said that. This is what happened. You can have it. Oh, is that what happened? You can have it. That's what I'm like, bro. Because once I'm over you, I'm over you. I'm not even trying to prove a point. There's nothing to prove. It doesn't matter to me anymore. But that's me. You know what I'm saying to you? So that's why I said like she didn't need to do that. It kind of felt like he's still kind of like old boy, because you're still trying to prove a point. But I hear what you're saying as well. I get what you're saying. I don't know if Sean has thoughts on this, or see if we've got any more thoughts on this.
No, not really. I don't know if Sean went.
Yeah, I would. The only thing I would add is that it seems like Donna is one of those people that she has to learn for herself, and there's a danger in that, because there's but so many times you can get a red flag, and then you keep saying, "Oh, I just need to learn for myself. He never did it to me." Vince called the lady the B word. She needed to learn for herself. She's still pushing forward. His ex is saying he's argumentative. She's going to learn for herself. They say a wise person learns from other people's mistakes. At a certain point, I'd rather learn from other people's mistakes, especially when it's somebody that I don't really know. They're kicking me out of CVS. So if y'all see me on the news, I'm getting put out of CVS.
It is almost 11 o'clock, Sean.
CVS said, listen, get your ass out of there, boy. We had enough of your situation. You get me? I mean, the ex did co-sign him and said he's a very good partner. Just said he's argumentative. You get me? So, I think Vince has got some work to do. I think he just needs to look at the way that he appears and the way that he deals with things. He's probably a bit too blunt with the way that he deals with things, and I think sometimes when you're so focused on trying to prove a point, you lose sight of the actual point, which is that we're supposed to bring understanding. We're not trying to be right. We're trying to be understood. So I think that's a very important thing for Vince to remember. Stop. Vince needs to stop trying to prove yourself right and actually start to come to an understanding. Yeah, Vince could have stopped that interaction, but because Vince was so focused on trying to win, he gonna trade back and forth. You know what I'm saying to you? And sometimes you just need to allow your ego just to be like, all right, cool, you got it. You know what I mean? I don't agree, but you got it, and then move on. So yeah. But Vince is somebody who needs to win. So until he gets that place, he won't. I think he just needs to mature a little bit more and recognize that as well. Any other thoughts on Vince and his day before we move to Stephen? Okay, cool. Move on. All right, let's go to. I realize that they've been shifting and moving this whole date situation.
Was peace around him that was just so safe. After a long day, you just want to come home and just lay the student and just watch Ghostbusters or something.
How has you guys?
Okay. Do we believe that as Lauren said, she's comfortable with a man just being able to relax and be quiet and introverted, and she just come home and just cuddle with that man? Do we believe her? Do we believe that our good sis, this is where she gonna leave it? Like she gonna be okay with that? She's just gonna stay there? Do we believe that? Are we in agreement? Yes, I'll say it.
That the way you describe it, Kojo, it sounds like a pet. the way you describe it sounds like, okay, you home, waiting for me to come home. You happy to see me come through the door? It sounded like a pet. I'm sorry. Steven has got to be outside some of the time to be finding all those vintage clothes, okay? He can't be inside all the time. I understand what they're trying to say, that he isn't party everywhere, party over here, party over there. It sounded like you're okay with a house husband. That's what it sounded like. If Steven is okay with being a house husband, that's certainly fine. They can define their relationship. But it sounded like I go out, you stay home. And you stay home because I'm sure that you're not out here cheating. Okay? That's why I need you to stay home. So it may sound good. I don't know how practical it's going to be. But hey, I much more understand the Ashanti connection because we saw them having great conversation and moments during the show. But yeah. And then when Donna shade on this date, ooh, I was like, Donna, really? And then Donna wants to talk it. I mean, Donna's timeline is on her timeline. She did talk to, I believe it was Ed, where she said when she would like to start having children, within 5 years. So the moving in quickly would be the having kids. Donna's on her timeline. It's kind of quick for at least for me, but Donna's on her timeline. Okay, we're gonna move in together 3 to 6 months. If we're about this, we doing this, and we gonna be married. We're gonna have babies. This timeline is running. Okay, the time is running. But the shade of Stephen and I, we will be having our first kid together, and that'll be wonderful. That was I was like, Donna, I knew you had shade, but the ladies are right here. Come on now. But I'm not sure what everybody else's thoughts are on them.
I mean, she was definitely shading the other women, or shading Lauren, making sure that it was clear that, she doesn't have any kids, so they can have a fresh start together. I didn't understand the moving in part. It seemed like she has a plan and she's just trying to plug a man into it. And when you have a plan in your head and you're just trying to plug and play, to me, that's kind of a dangerous situation. And a lot of women do that. They already have they husband and they picket fence and everything lined up in their head. They just got to figure out who's going to do the job. And that's really what it gives. And when you're thinking like that, you're not actually evaluating the man that's in front of you. So, you know, to me, Donna is giving, you know, like C. Golden said, thirsty. Yeah, it's giving thirsty. It's giving pick me. It's giving let me put the women down next to me. It's giving I'm just going to take anything. So, you know, when you put that energy out there, you're going to get what you're going to get. So that's my thoughts.
I hear you. Definitely here. Okay. Any thoughts on them before I move it to Devin and
yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just surprised by Donna. I don't know if she got caught up in the competition and she's just, you know, going full force ahead, because these things just don't make any sense. She's like, she could move in with somebody in like 6 months. You know, could that happen? Sure, but it should be a case by case, and you should be evaluating the person in front of you. You shouldn't just like make a blanket statement. And for somebody who's a mathematician by nature, and knows calculations, you know that sometimes your formula doesn't apply, you know, for each exact scenario. So I'm not sure why she's not doing more evaluation on a person by person basis. And I think then that's how we see, you know, how folks wind up in these situations where, you know, maybe they do great in their careers, but their romantic relationships don't work out well. This is how we, you know, and I put myself in there, you know, like this is just how we land there, because it just didn't, the math was not mathing, you know, like how the hell are you just going to make a blanket statement like that? We just talked about her and Vince and just brushing past the red flags. And it's not to say, oh, everything is a deal breaker or you got to move it off the table. But to me, it's kind of like she just was like, okay, that don't apply to me. I see he's acting crazy over here. He's randomly calling women bees that have done nothing to him. And it's just, you know, it's okay. He's argumentative. Well, he ain't argumentative with me yet. You just met him. Like, I just don't, like, I really have to question how when people get, especially people like her, you get empirical data and you just dismiss it to just do what you want to do regardless. And then she'll be the same person upset and saying everybody's toxic and all the men wasn't nothing. Okay. But how many pieces of information did you get about that person and you just ignored it? That's what I think.
But Sean, you know, sometimes when we are that, you know, that smart, that, you know, book smart, sometimes it doesn't transfer over into, you know, people skills.
Also, Donna with obviously. Oh, sorry. I was going to say Donna with you know, with Stephen, you know, her situation. It was interesting because, you know, she also too. I know we said about Lauren coming home to that pet, but Donna also was saying about like I was smart. I don't know why she was talking about homework so much and about how, I know she said some funny comment. I'm trying to remember the actual comment what she made. It was a really funny comment about having a man or whatever. She too almost sounded like plug and play too. You know what I mean? Like, and that was it. She was like, oh, basically like Stephen might need someone to be a bit more forthcoming, like, you know, somebody's a bit more forthright and a bit more assertive. I said, sis, it's a no bueno. It's a no bueno, sis. I said, calm down. I said, no. I don't even know if that man likes you yet. Okay, all right. Before you start talking about being more assertive, we don't even know if that man likes you. Okay, that man ain't said nothing about liking you yet. He seems very chill. And if anybody who he really liked, it looked like it was Ashanti who he really liked. But again, I don't know where that connection's gone. But yeah, as of now, right now, which is actually interesting. What happened to the Ashanti actually conversation? She was there though. She was there. But yeah, I never got the instinct that he liked you like that. You've had conversations, but he seemed very distant. Like he never was really close to you. So the fact that you want to be more assertive, I was like, sis, that's how you going. That's you gonna be assertive. You gonna catch him. You gonna marry him, and you gonna divorce him in 10. Like, so yeah, I was looking at Donna like Shelby. Let's not do too much. Elsie, were you gonna say something?
No, remember when Steven said in his confessional after the date last week, he said, "Dang, Donna, if you come Donna, you got to step correct." I don't think he's trying to step.
I agree. Steven seemed more enthralled with Lauren. And Elle said, I know I rely on you for the details and the specifics, but I don't know if there was another one of the ladies that he seemed to really be. I know he brought a few ladies to meet his ex, but I think he just seemed to really, from what I saw, connect very well with Lauren.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. Okay. I don't know if Ashanti actually said anything in this part of the scene. I didn't remember her saying much. Again, I didn't remember her saying much in this. It was more Donna and Lauren that were kind of saying something. And of course, she has to get back to her homework. That's in the CAF, because she said she hasn't got no other life apart from being in the CAF. So she said that. I didn't say that. She said this. All she does is be in a CAF. So I don't know what kind of homework she got, but it must be a lot. You know what I mean? So marking work is never easy. Okay. Okay, so then Devon and his ex situation, he had a situation as well. So let's have a look.
Well,
if it wasn't for this tremendous insecurity.
yeah. Does she have an attachment issue?
Yeah, that's what I'm wrestling with right now.
Yeah, I feel bad for you.
I don't know.
I can't lie. Out of all the exes, Devon's one was the baddest. I can't lie to you. All right, she was beautiful, like top quality beautiful. I can see why he was delusional about Dominique, but she was top level beautiful. I'm asking questions. You know what I mean? Is she crazy? Is Devon crazy? I'm asking questions. You know what I mean? Like, because that level of beauty, to leave it alone, either you crazy or she was crazy. Which one was it? Which one was it? You know what I mean? I'm joking. I'm not joking. I'm being serious. Why are you looking at me first, Elsie?
Is he really delusional with Dominique if this is his ex?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, when I say delusional, I mean in the sense of he's delusional enough. You've had that, so you're able to be delusional about this situation. Not like in a bad way, but in the sense of I could get it. You know what I'm saying to you? So.
Yeah, I would like to know the ending of their relationship, the trajectory, how long ago that was. You know, definitely the young lady. I need to know, you know, their age difference, because she did seem, you know, like she could be an undergrad, but you know, that could just be her aesthetic. But beautiful young lady, she recognized the assignment. She, you know, did not come, you know, as forthcoming. She didn't come on too strong, but she did seem very young. She's there, you know, aim to please. And again, I'd like to know why this ended, because neither one of them looked like they were trying to spin the block on each other. But it's like, is there a possibility? How did this end? You know, but she did give, you know, good advice at the end. So I did like this date. Now, Devon is still giving gifts. Okay. He's still giving gifts. He's removed himself from Cash App at least. And he's giving gifts in front of everybody. Okay. So Dom also tells us that he clocked the roses at her house and sent roses to her job. So Devon's love language could be gift giving. Whatever you need or what I think you need, I will provide. Okay. But this is a clear case of, the, more nerdy guy. The more nerdy guy could be pulling because, hey, it's his personality. It's his character. The young lady is drawn to it. So, hey, we see that, definitely Shannon is being drawn to him. Hey, but Nicole saying, I don't like to see you talking to any other girls. Why did you come to the show? Why? This is the nature of the show. Seeing someone date multiple people. It's not going to be private dating. So I think Nicole was delusional in this sense. Like, you could say, hey, if we were on the outside, this is not a situation that I will be comfortable with. You can say that. You can say how it makes you feel, but daggone it. I was like, Nicole, just Nicole, just tell us you want to go check on Ed. Okay? You want to go wipe his tears. Okay? Just tell us that. Didn't need to be all this. But it was a good date. Very good date. It had me looking at Devin a little bit differently. But I need to know why this relationship ended.
Sean Seaway, have any thoughts on Devin and his date?
I'm not sure what my thoughts are. I'm not sure I believe that was a girlfriend of his or ex of his. That's number one. That's a big problem of mine. But number two, I understand that it's natural for Nicole to not want to see, people dating in front of her. But my problem is she just doesn't read the room and she just doesn't know what to keep to herself. And she lets, kind of her internal insecurities come out loud, and it kind of she messes her own self up. I think some of these are inside thoughts, like, hey, I just really don't like to see you dating other people. That's okay to feel, but if you came on a show where people are dating everyone, it's kind of a natural process. What I will say though, for Devin, if I'm a woman that's interested, I think by this stage in the game, seeing that he be giving everybody gifts and everybody stuff, I personally, even though I'm not like where Nicole is at, I'm not sure I would be super comfortable with that, because it just seems like he just outside doing whatever, any and everything. I think the reason why the Dominique doesn't care is because she doesn't even like him like that. So she could be fake supportive, whatever. But if I was like really interested and he's still sending everybody and their mama gifts and gift certificates and casino cards, massage gift cards, whatever he's handing out, and he's not even discreet about it, I'm not gonna sit here and say that's not a human reaction to feel away. He just seemed like he just be giving it out, literally. I don't know what he be doing, but I need you to be a little bit more picky with me. So
if I'm less picky with how I give out gifts, you gonna tell me you like me or what?
What you mean?
Or are we still keeping our feelings close to the vest?
You being funny. You was sitting on that?
I just thought about it. I wish I could say I was waiting for the moment, but as soon as you started going down that rabbit hole, I said, well, it seems like we understand when discretion is needed, when being, upfront and clear about what we like and who we want, and not being for everybody or nobody. I just want us to keep that same energy, that's all.
Well, Sean, I think just to clarify, since you brought this back up, I didn't. If Mr. Cordero, Corvée, if he would have
Cardi, you making me forget.
If Mr. Cartier would have said that to her, I wouldn't have had an issue with it. If he would have brought up, hey, I don't want to be your homeboy, your homie, lover, friend. I need to know what I am. I need to know, like, is you feeling me or not? I would have an issue with that. What I had issue with was that friend of his, that ex of his, running her mouth. Just to be clear.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Carter was giving gifts too. I mean, we didn't see it being handed out, but we saw them walking out with bags. And I think with Steven's date too, the ladies had bags. I mean, we didn't see gift distribution, but if you look at the scenes, you saw gift bags.
Expect that.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I think that, and I feel bad for Nicole because she just, she's just getting, tossed to the side here because she's a beautiful girl. But I just think like I just need her to be a little bit more emotionally regulated, because she just was like going in. Like, I don't want to see him talking to no woman. I don't want to see this. I don't care about that. It's like, let's get to a point where the situation that we're in warrants it. I think she jumped the gun with Ed. Now she's jumping the gun here. And it's like, let people get to know you before you come in so hot and fast with all your feelings, and I just felt bad for her. That's what I think about it.
Go for it, see what, yeah?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to click.
Okay. Well, it got to a point where our good sis, she had to, there was two choices of people being sent home. It was Nicole, or it was going to be Shanti, wasn't it? Right. And obviously they picked Nicole. I know you guys already spoke about Nicole a little bit as well, so I guess we'll end it on that. But end it on your thoughts about Nicole. But obviously, do we think Nicole self-sabotaged to go back to Ed quickly? Or is it the case of just Nicole just never really having a real connection with people in general? Like, it's just, she was just there. You know what I mean? Like, how do we see Nicole's situation? Because, of course, they sent her home. I think it was for the best anyway. I just didn't think her connection was there. As much as I do think she might be a little bit insecure. I think if she found someone that liked her, she liked them, she might be all right. But how did we guys see it? How do we see Nicole and see the way she was moving? Of course, they had to kick her out. It's unfortunate. Poor girl. Sometimes you got to end the misery,
Well, I think it was best that she went home because I don't think this was necessarily the process for her. And I don't believe that there was a man on here that I saw that I think had maybe the emotional willingness and intelligence to kind of work through what Nicole has going on. She seems to be a nice girl and she seems to, mean the best. But when you're operating with that type of insecurity, the way she crashed out about Ed, you're just not in the best space. And unfortunately, I think that's going to prevent her from actually finding a good man as easily because she just seems to be, I think, as Sean said, emotionally not the most regulated. And she has a lot of insecurity. And there's not a lot of men, they're going to just be real patient through all of that stuff that she has going on. So, it's unfortunate that she went home. I wish there was a man on the show that could have, took the time with her and try to work through whatever she's dealing with and, her insecurities and things like that. But I didn't see a man like that on the show. And I think a lot of this she's going to have to work through on her own as well. It's not it's not a man's job to heal that part. You kind of have to do a lot of that work on your own.
Anyone else? Any other thoughts on Nicole?
No, I've roasted Nicole weekly for long enough, so I guess she goes home and I don't have to roast her anymore. But again, Ed still ain't checking for her. But I think she checked out once he left.
Can you blame her? 15 years, she loved that man.
And 15 more years, she still gonna love that man.
We gotta love ourselves. We gotta love ourselves a little more than that.
Kojo,
Do
I
it.
want you to reach out and interview her because we need the backstory. I have to understand it.
Mhm.
She done told you
Okay.
the whole story, Sean. She done told you.
About why
But we
she
still need the interview.
because of what was the story? Why she run after Ed like that?
She didn't see him in college, seen him right away. I mean, come on. She said the whole thing.
No, that's not an answer to why she's the way she is. That's what Sean said.
I understand. Still need the interview.
Well, you know how it be. You know, it's unfortunate, but you know, our good sis, you know, she felt she liked a man. You know what I mean? Like she liked a man, and I can understand, man. Sometimes you're just caught up on the fantasy. You know, sometimes you're caught up in the fantasy of that person, and then the fantasy becomes a reality. And it's like I said, you feel like you almost can get it. You know, you feel like you could almost touch it with your hands. Like she was there. Ed wasn't within her hands. You know what I'm saying to you? So look, we all probably have one of those stories, maybe not everybody, but most of us have a story where we've maybe not 15 years, but you know, where you've liked someone and you thought you could have a chance and it was never going to happen, but you had to take the chance and try and make it work. And you had to kind of exhaust all your options so that you can just tell yourself, I tried everything. You know what I mean?
But I don't think this will stop her. I mean, I think she'll think that production got into their way. This was their moment. You know, that may be. But the man went and married someone else and had kids with them. If that don't wake you up a little bit, I don't know what will. And you know, I don't get the whole this is our time. This could have been our time. If that man ain't checking for you more than you checking for him, it ain't your time. But then again, gentlemen of the panel, I mean, if you saw this is how Nicole navigated with Ed, would you feel secure if she were your girl, your potential wife, that she was fully, you know, yours?
Probably not, but you'd hope that obviously there'll be I guess you have to watch how she moves with you in it. Do you get me? Because I get it. Like I said, I understand that, you know, sometimes you get caught up in a moment and you get caught up in wanting to make things happen and you know, be with someone. So again, I can kind of see it. You know what I'm saying to you? Like you get caught up.
You know what, Kojo? She's committed. We could give her that.
Like, listen, as long as you're stuck on me and you show me that you're stuck on me, I hear it. But of course, you know, some people do need time as well to be able to unprocess, to learn how to be unstuck on that person. So she might need a bit of time before you can actually date her, you know? And sometimes, again, it's not actually about Ed, it's what Ed represents. You know, sometimes what Ed represents is the fact that, you know, he represented something for her. And so now that, again, that fantasy, unfortunately, is not realized. So sometimes it's not the fact it's Ed, it's Ed, but it's what it represents, the symbolism, isn't it? So, you know, I think giving her a bit of time to really kind of unstuck herself from the situation is what she needs. You know, I think that's the key thing for her. And then she can go forward, you know. Most of us have been there, you know, been in a situation. Maybe not as long as that again, but we've been there. Okay, we have to learn from our mistakes. So hopefully she learns. I'll reach out to her and see what she says. Sean, any thoughts around Nicole? And you can also bring us to a close. Or the CVS nab you. Just to let you know, I don't pay bail. So if they take you, you're in there.
Not Abby that ran off with Sean.
She probably did.
Well, Abby's also in custody if he's in custody. So,
well, Kojo, what did you think about Bello's you know, feedback to Ashante, telling her, hey, close the gap?
What did he say?
On her elimination date, he said, you know, stop being distant, close the gap, get up close, let us know how you're feeling, let us know you're feeling us.
Again, I mean, there were more to about Cardi, but once again, like I said, you know, I think me and Sean kind of said it. She doesn't let people know. She's very she's got a guard up, so it's hard to tell whether she likes you or not. And it's probably because she's trying to take her time to discern whether that person's right for her. But you know, by doing that, people having to jump hurdles. It's too long, man. You remember they told you we're not jumping walls, we're not climbing walls. Okay, all right. And we ain't dating people that we don't know that like us. Okay, we're not doing that in 2025. And going on to 2026, the next phrase is, you know, not for her specifically, but you know, we got a new one. Shut up. But you know, I think you know, in this instance, she just needs to be able to speak up and let people know.
Wait, what?
Oh, just talking about the different themes of the year.
Oh, okay.
You know, different themes of the year. So, you know, 2026 is shut up.
To the men?
To everybody.
Why everybody got to shut up? What's going on?
Yeah. Not everybody like that. I saying men and women who are dating, who talk too much and put their foot in it, do too much. Yeah, just shut up.
I think it'll be possibly say listen more. Okay, listen.
Yeah. Listen more sounds too nice. I want to put a hard stop on it. Shut up. Bam. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people need to shut up. A lot of people need to shut up. They talk too much. They don't listen enough. Yeah.
Okay, not bad. Okay.
So that's the theme of 2026.
We got our theme already.
The message get confused. Oh, the females don't get confused. People need to shut up. If you know you're not contributing anything sensible, if you know your finger's not going to weight behind it, you know what I mean?
This year was you not climbing any walls. You're not breaking any walls.
We didn't know. Breaking walls was last year, right? And climbing walls was this year. I can't remember what this year. This year was something else. It was something else I can't remember.
I thought it was no climbing walls, but okay.
No climbing walls.
Been saying that for the last 5 years.
And I tell you what, it's been a blessing not to climb any walls. I tell you that for sure. Climbing them, breaking them.
Look, okay.
I see a wall and I run the other way. You know what I mean? But you know, I might make an exception for Shanti.
She's beautiful.
She's beautiful.
I knew she wasn't going home. I'm like, they ain't sending her home. Stop
you know what? I think we've got a different side of her. We have started to see a little bit of a side. She just needs to spend more time with Stephen. They need to put a thing and follow her and Stephen a bit more because he seems to open her up. Do you know what I mean? And have conversations. So if they can do a little bit more of that, that'll be fantastic. You know what I'm saying to you? So.
She just seems like she doesn't chase men, and she's also a little bit guarded. But I think if you're surrounded by a whole lot of women that are chasing men, you look very guarded. I know some people will say, "Oh, Dominique doesn't chase men." She does in a unique way. She actually is just smarter than the men, so she's able to chase them in a way that only a few people will see. It's a very unique way. But there's so many people on there chasing men that I mean.
Koja, you had a whole live and you didn't, go after Shannon for her pearls. And then Nicole wore pearls tonight too.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't paying attention. Don't worry. Tomorrow when I properly did my breakdown, I'll probably see the pearls and then I can talk about it. And we can be under the sea. Someone said no chasing men in 2026. I hear it. Okay.
Because who gonna be, what is it? Who gonna be the boys?
Someone said Dominique calls the men.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
Shout out to her. There was a super chat. Let me just read it. Sorry. Tim Pickens said earlier on, my bad, I missed it. Apologies. So the issue is not about him and animals. It's about how sad it is to use money as a personality. So I hear you on that one. Thank you, Tim Pickens. Sorry, I didn't read it earlier. I should have read it earlier. I missed it in the midst of our conversation. So thank you. Well, listen.
Who doing the bending is wild and absolutely
in 2026, who's doing the bending? Well, if you're not married, we shouldn't be doing any kind of bending, guys. So since Shawn is in CVS trouble and Abby's also locked away as well, so she can't step in for him, I am going to give us the little benediction. It's going to be short.
Not you don't want to give it. You like, look, we're not giving the benediction. Just see what I don't know what she's going to say.
You know what I mean? Let's be sensible and guided. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta get out of here.
I already knew
We gotta
it.
get out of here in one piece. We gotta get out of here in one piece. So, people, listen, it's been wonderful. I won't even try to do a good job because it's not my role. But listen, I think first and foremost, Devon, you know, we've got questions. Okay, I know some people do graduate marriages, but Devon, we need to find out about this graduate that you have in your midst. Is it really your girlfriend that was an ex, or is it somebody who is filling in the boots for her as well? So we need some of that story. We have Nicole. Unfortunately, Nicole, and you know I don't do things in chronological order. Nicole, unfortunately, sis, you know, the people thought you were very insecure with the way that you dealt with things and the anxiety that you have. I personally do believe a little bit of coaching will take you a long way. You know, I think you should reach out to me. Okay, just say, all right, darling, we don't want you to stay in that place alone. I want you to leave Ed and Eddie alone. Okay. All right, leave Ed and Eddie alone, and we need you to come and put yourself first. Okay, that should be your motto in 2026. I'm putting myself first. Okay, it's just me, myself, and I, as a famous song says as well. And then we have Bello, Dominique, and Ashanti. I think, you know, sometimes the devil is in the details, and sometimes you really can't outsmart the devil. So I would honestly say that with Bello, pay careful attention, because sometimes the temptation, the fire, the heat can be very sensual and very sexy, but you don't recognize that you're actually in hell. You got to pay attention. You know what I mean? So I would say take your time. You know, your lips sing a lot, and that lips that we even talk about the lips that you gave at the end, the way you ended the kiss looked like you didn't even want to kiss her at the end. I'm just saying, that's my personal thoughts. So hopefully Bella works that out, whether it's Ashanti or Dominique. And then we also have Cardi, I was about to say Cardi B, and that was gonna be bad, but we have Cardi and his ex and the girls. I want to say Cardi first and foremost. That ex that you brought there, okay, whether she is your ex or not makes no difference. You can't let someone else control the temperature of the room. Unfortunately, it got a bit chilly, and you know, you iced out Ashanti with your ex shooting back and forth with her and made her feel uncomfortable. So I think this is important just to say that, Cardi, next time when you have a group setting, learn how to be a controller rather than somebody who's very passive in the ways that you do things as well. And I guess I want to end on Darius. Okay, all right. You know, he's definitely been taken. Yeah, they took him away. I want to end on Darius and to say, look, you know, sometimes, you know, being flashy isn't the way to go. We're looking for depth. We're looking for some level of, you know, intelligence beyond just you wearing very excitable clothes. Okay, the ladies are looking for you to also have a mind that seems to be vulnerable, which you didn't bring last episode, and also in this episode seemingly a bit more conversation that touches different areas. And so I would say, whether the furs are real or not, maybe to look at another way of being fashionable. Okay, all right, and maybe hunt in Target rather than hunt in the woods. Who knows? But listen, we gotta go. You know, I appreciate everybody here who's been on this live today. As you can tell, my benediction isn't as sweet as Sean's. He's mastered that skill to an absolute T. It's very difficult thinking of some these things when you're at the end of the situation. So shout out to Sean. You never know how difficult a job is until you're doing it. Listen, we'll see you guys soon for another live. I know Christmas is on Wednesday for all of us as well. Is it Thursday for you guys? It's a Thursday. Sorry.
Yes, Thursday. Thursday. Yep.
Yes, Thursday. Sorry, it's Thursday. All of us. Yes, apologies. It's Christmas Eve Wednesday. I apologize. Wednesday we'll be live. We'll have a panel talk on a Wednesday. It was very good last week. We had a good conversation about whether emotional labor, women are doing too much emotional labor in relationships. So we've got another topic this Wednesday as well. So if you're free and around, which I know you are, because it's Christmas Eve, okay, come and join us at 9 p.m. EST, 8:30, sorry, EST. And you know, we'll try and take it as late as possible, because you know it's nice to take us all into Christmas. You know what I mean? So we'll see you guys soon. All right, listen, my time is up and my throat is Pause. Anyway, I gotta go. Appreciate you guys.
I was about to pause.
As soon as I said throat.
Oh my gosh, guys! Let's
need-
just he can have a parched throat for crying out loud.
I was so glad he got to it first because I was about to. Good job.
Let's see, Way. Come on, you just had a nice birthday yesterday. Don't make me tell you to grow up. Stop it. Cut it out.
I ain't grown yet. God ain't through with me yet.
As
Or
they say,
y'all-
well,
or y'all
yeah.
have-
Let the chat's gonna have some words. You know, the after chat. You're gonna have a couple dissertations, and I'm sure I'm gonna get them too.
The fox eating
Kojo,
hoes, the fox killing hoes.
we should do that every live. We should have a comment that we want to highlight, like we did last live, with old girl telling us about ourselves. Every live we should just pick one and just do a deep dive for 10-15 minutes.
I got you. I like that. As an additive to live. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's such a good session. Yeah, that would add some depth to the conversation. Yeah. I said no, but don't worry. Yeah, I think it's
that
good.
means I gotta go in the comments and find one. Okay.
Well, don't worry, we'll find one for you. So don't worry about that at all.
Jay is
All right,
talking
listen.
about every live wear a fox. I cannot stand Jay.
Don't worry, I've got a couple
Or
foxes
wear a
in the bag.
Pomeranian. Well, that's what that thing looked like. It looked like a Pomeranian.
Aww.
Y'all are terrible. We got to go, guys. Okay. All right. We're going to see you very soon. Okay, guys. All right. You know, tonight it's been fun because we had a little bit of
Yes. Yes.
A relationship.
Yes. It was a relationship.
It was an entanglement. But anyway,